Hi everyone, how are you? I hope all of you are doing fine. And now I'm going to talk about three things. The first is research ethics, the second is the example of unethical and ethical practices in quantitative and qualitative research, and the last is informed consent and consent work. Do you curious about that? Let's check it out. Okay, first is about research ethics. Research ethics concern with the responsibility of the researchers to be honest and respectful to all of the participants that involved. The rights of people should be protected, particularly to those who are vulnerable. Okay, there are four principles of research ethics. The first is autonomy. Participants should consent to participate in the study, and those who cannot give their consent, such as children, people with abilities, and prisoners, need to be protected. And if they don't wish to participate, nobody can force them. So it's like the freedom to choose whether they're going to whether they're willing to join in our studies or not. And as the researcher, we have to respect to the participants' decisions. The second is the beneficial. The researcher has to give a lot of possible of benefits to the participants and minimize the risks. The third is non-maleficent or no harm. As the researcher, we cannot harm our participants, and harm can be physical, such as illness, pain, or we hurt them. We cannot do that. And the psychological is we making our participants feel guilty and anger or humiliations. And economic, as a researcher, we cannot imposing costs to the participants. And the last is justice. We have to fair in procedure for selecting participants or being fair to the participants. The needs of the participants should come first before researchers' needs. So it's like we have to prioritize our participants. Okay, next. The example of unethical practices in doing research. Before I explain about this, I will not put the whole pages of the journal because it won't fit my PPT. So I just want to put the important thing, and I already give the highlight. Yeah. So this is the title: Improving Student Listening Skill by Using English Songs, and this is the writers or the researcher's name. Why I say it's an ethical research? Because the researchers put the name of the school and the address. Here we can see the target of the research was the students at 8th grade of SMPN 1 Lebak Wangi, Kecamatan Lebak Wangi. There were 62 students. We cannot do this because we need to protect their confidentiality. The next, it's almost same. The case is same like the previous journal. Okay, this is the title: Teaching Vocabulary Through Picture Cards in Islamic Elementary School. A case study in Nida Successful Thailand. This is the researcher's name. Here we can see the study was conducted aimed to know the influence of picture cards in teaching vocabulary to the 3rd grade of Nida Successful Thailand. Okay, we cannot do this. We cannot share the name of the institutions or the school in our research, because someone can track and someone can find out where the location, and it might be can cause harm. Okay, we cannot do that. The next, okay, the previous we're talking about the unethical practices. Now we're going to talk about the ethical practices in doing research. Yeah, as I have mentioned before, I won't put the whole pages, so I will put the important things, and I already give the highlight in the important things that I will explain. This is the title: L2 Writing Proficiency and Mastery of Complex Sentence, a study of Indonesian English education major university students. The writer or the researcher name here. Why I consider this one as the ethical practices? Because here we can see the participants of this study were 10 undergraduate students of English Educational Department taking essay writing course at a university in a big city in Indonesia. There is no name of the students, and there is no name of the institution or the university, which is mean the writer or the researcher tried to protect the confidentiality of the students and the university. Here, another example here we can see they were also explained about the nature of the research, the needed data, which were their essay and grades, and most importantly about their rights as participants. As such, this participant voluntary participation was maintained and guaranteed. Okay, so before the researcher used the data from the student, the researcher give the consent form, which is we have to give the consent form to every student if we are going to use their data, or we are going to do the research in a particular place. And this is very good. I already explained here. The next example is here, and I forgot this. I forgot to mention it before. Okay, this journal is using quantitative method. Here, another example. Here the title, and this is the writers or researchers. This is a descriptive qualitative study. The study was conducted in a senior high school in Cianjur. The participants were an English teacher and 28 students of 11th grade at social class. So, okay, why I say it's an ethic example of the research? Because the writers or the researcher didn't put the real name of the school. They just mentioned senior high school, so it cannot be tracked where they are doing their research, because there are a lot of senior high school in Cianjur, right? And also there is no name from the teacher and the students, so, which is mean the writers or the researchers try to protect the confidentiality of the students and teachers. Yeah, we are going to move to another part: informed consent and consent rule. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you confused. You're confused when you see my consent form. I'm explaining in English, but my consent form is in Indonesian. But it's okay because my participants is Indonesian people. So I have to consider where the participant came from. If the participant came from Indonesia, then I will use consent form in Indonesian language. If the participant came from maybe Singapore, which is English as their L1, so I am going to change it in English. Okay, that's the reason why the consent form is Indonesian. But yeah, there's some part that we need to know. The first is, this is the title, the consent form, and then the logo here means that where the researchers came from, okay, or the institutions of the researchers. And then the title of the study that I will conduct, and the researcher's name here, and then the purpose of the research or the study, and the data of the researcher. Okay, the data of the researcher we have to state as clear as possible, so the participants will not get confused later. And as a researcher, we cannot put words that can make the participants misunderstanding or confused. So everything has to transparent and clear. Okay, here the informed consent. As we can see, number one, it talk about like the autonomy. Okay, so the participants, if they are willing, because when they are sign letter, this consent form, it means that they are willing to join in this study, not because they are forced by someone. Okay, the second, the second is about the data from the participants, and then the third, we have to protect the data of the participants, like the confidentiality. So when later we are using the data of the participant, we cannot put their real name. Okay, let's keep anonymous or no name. Here's the data of the participant, and then maybe if you need your research, or if you are going to do interview with some of the participants, you need to ask them whether they are willing to attend in the interview or not. Okay, and as I have mentioned before, the principle, okay, the basic principle of research ethics, we have to give the beneficial to them. Okay, whether you are going to give them software or internet data, it depends on how you are going to conduct the interview. And here the contact person of our participant, and this the signature for participants. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for watching and see you. Bye.